How you doing?
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 How you doing? How you doing? So what's going on?
You don't want to know.
And now, Tom Zappola and Mike Lamazzo with the Sicilian Corner.
Mikey, my main man.
Hiya, Thomas.
So far, honestly, Mikey, you have aggravated the hell out of me today.
You know something? I feel like I've done my job.
You have really aggravated me, but that's okay. You know, I try to help you with your computer situation, and as a result, I kind of screw myself up.
Well,
But that's the kind of guy I am.
You cannot sit for a half an hour without touching dials. I've learned that. So next week, we're not going to come on the air till about 5 minutes to 11. This way, you can't have a chance to screw nothing up.
See, that hurts me.
It's
No,
true.
I'm serious.
You
That
can't.
hurts me.
You can't sit still. You got to be touching this dial, that dial. I got to reboot. I got to redo this. I got to do that. Leave things alone. Once they're working, don't touch it. Don't even breathe heavy.
All right, that's fair enough.
All
All right,
right.
listen. Here's what we got: a good show today. Let's bring him in right now. Let's bring in our good friend. Hi, Jimmy.
Morning, guys.
Hey, guy.
This is a friend now, Jim. We've known each other a long time, James.
Well, I met your sister in 91. So what is that? Oh, God, 30. It's 30 years.
30 years. Right on the money.
So, Mike and I thought that this would be kind of an interesting show. Everybody knows what's going on in the entertainment industry. It's been a little shaky to say the least. So we decided to call up an old friend, Jim Bozzi, a vice president of Live Nation Connecticut, who has his finger on the pulse. Is what's going on in the entertainment world. And you know, Jimmy, the reason I'm saying this, Boz, is because what catapulted me, gave me the inspiration to call you, is I had a conversation with Aaron Caruso. You know Aaron, right?
Not sure. Boston guy?
No, actually, he's from Michigan, but he's a good friend of some of your mutual friends. I think he's a good friend of Anthony's and a few other people.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he's a tenor. He's an Italian tenor, great singer. And we were
Awesome.
talking, and he is doing very, very well. He kind of recreated himself like a lot of entertainers are doing. On the air virtually, he's doing very well with some program that people actually pay to watch him sing on either Zoom or something else. But we wanted to touch base with you because you've had your finger on the pulse. Being with Live Nation. Well, before it was Live Nation, it was like Clear Channel and everybody else. Correct?
SFX, Clear Channel. Obviously, I go back to your listeners may not know, but the Oakdale Theater, which very much is like it's exactly like Hyannis and Cohasset, which was a theater in the round, summer only, and then became a year-round theater in '96. Worked with your sister. She was the premier talent buyer of the venue for many, many years. But yeah, when you say the pulse, it's funny because the pulse has been a little light in the past year, because it's exactly a year, March 12th, that all of us, the industry, let's call it, not just Connecticut or Mass, but I mean, the industry just went like this, bam, and just, we all left the office thinking we'd be gone 2, possibly 3 weeks tops. And here we are. I'm sitting looking at you guys. I don't know what day, March 5? It's March 5th. So it's almost a year ago that we just said, and Tony, that week closed down, we had a Christian band called Mercy Me on Feb 28th, sold out, 5,600 people, whatever. Then we had a guy named Dylan McDermott played another part of our venue. And then we had a little show called Master Chef, kids cooking show that's on, YouTube and stuff. And then that was it. We were going into Riverdance, a week-long engagement of Riverdance. Brick Floyd was going to be that Saturday night, the Friday before we closed. Saturday.
Yeah.
Beach Boys were coming in with Felix Cavaliers Rascals. I mean, we had a stellar spring and summer. 2020 was shaping up to be, and I'm not just talking New England, I'm talking the country. Because all of the major, 2019 was not a great year on the road, let's call it as we call it.
Yeah.
2020, though, was shaping up to be quite quite a year. Kiss was doing their farewell tour. Luke Bryan was back out. Zach Brown, of course, is a perennial. Dave Matthews Band was going out. Maroon 5 was doing a tour. I mean, it was just phenomenal, the caliber of talent that was going to hit the road. And all of a sudden, no one's hitting anything. They're hitting the bottle is what they were what they started to hit. But to your point about the pulse, I mean, we're listening to the scientists, we're listening to the government officials in every state. Every state is different, as you well know. So, but as of Thursday, Michael Rapino, the CEO of Live Nation, had an investors call and has been all over the news about his speculation that he thinks by summer, midsummer, maybe mid to late summer, depending on your state, because every state is clobbered in a different way. I mean, here in Connecticut, we're in a pretty good spot. We're under a 2% rate. What do you call it? COVID rate?
Yeah.
Here. I don't know what Mass is at, but I know you got.
I think we're just 1.80 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's dropped like a rock.
That's great. I mean, listen, it's Massachusetts. It's not that it's physically much larger of a state. It is, but you have Boston, you have Worcester, you have the Cape,
Right.
major cities. Connecticut, we have 3 million people in the whole state. You've got 3 million people on a street in Back Bay. So it's not fair to compare. And then you throw, of course, Providence, Rhode Island in there, and that becomes New England, let's call it. And of course, Portland, Maine, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and all that stuff. So I think what our CEO referred to as far as mid to late summer was that I think you're going to see, if everything goes as planned and it looks, I mean, I'm very, very inspired and excited that it looks, at least on the news every morning, my God, it's way better than 5 months ago, right? I mean, 5 months ago, it was like doom and gloom, and the variants were coming out from South Africa and Brazil, and they're still out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm feeling with the vaccinations really, doing quite well and everywhere.
Jim, I have to agree with you. I think the confidence level has increased tremendously in the last 2 to 3 weeks. We were at Encore this weekend, and that's the most people I've seen at that beautiful Encore Boston Harbor Casino that I've seen in a long time. The restaurants were just booming. I think everybody wants to have a good time in a safe way. People got so much pent-up demand that when things do open up, man, I'll tell you, Reservation City. I think, Tommy, you'll agree with
Mike,
that.
I totally agree with that. Hey, boss, I'm getting a lot of comments. I know that you guys were affiliated or still affiliated with Mohegan Sun, correct?
Correct.
So someone's asking me, like, one person saying that she was very disappointed. She was supposed to see Tony Bennett. He was canceled. What have those venues, whether it be Mohegan Sun, Foxwoods, what have they been doing? Their rooms are just closed down entertainment wise?
Their venue rooms have been closed down. I mean, I think the casinos are at a certain capacity now. Just yesterday, Governor Lamont here in Connecticut is allowing 50% capacity of outdoor event venues, which would be like our amphitheater, the Xfinity Theater up in Hartford, or you guys have in Mansfield.
I can't remember the name of it, but yeah.
No, it's not. I want to say Great Woods, but I know it's not Great Woods. But in any event, so it's 50% of we could fit 24,000 people in Hartford, so maybe we can get 12,000 people in there in the summer. But starting March 19th, Connecticut is sort of opening up. Restaurants are going to be at full capacity. Mohegan Sun, back to your original question, they're in a different category, right? They're owned by that. We don't own them. We just book the shows. Your sister did primarily all of it. So they're indoors. They don't have the grace of outdoor air. I do think, though, because they're in Connecticut, that I think you're going to see some sort of maybe even early summer. They don't have to go by Live Nation's rules, right? They can kind of go for it. So I don't know, but like Mike said, you wear a mask or a double mask. I feel very confident. I mean, I've had one, vaccination that makes you feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think the closer we get to this Dr. Fauci herd immunity and more people feeling confident, the struggle is always going to be, listen, as New Englanders, the minute it hits 60 degrees, we become crazy, right? On a natural year, we're inside all the time anyway. From from Halloween to call it May 1st.
Hey, yeah, I was just saying May 1st.
So in an everyday year, we're like, oh my God, it's going to be 60 next week here in Connecticut. We're like, so.
Yeah, too.
Well, so you throw COVID on top of that we've been really home with the children, with the kids, Zoom calls and everything else. Here's the most intriguing thing. 83% of the ticket holders of the concerts that have been moved or postponed from last year, 83% of those ticket holders are holding onto their tickets.
Wow. I was going to ask you that question. So they are retaining I've got friends down here that had Zach Brown tickets, and they said, no, we're holding on to them.
You know what? It's almost like if you had a plane ticket, Tommy, right? If you had a plane ticket to, I don't know, the Caribbean, and I'm not gonna. I mean, if you're tight, we gave them a refund window, so they were able to get their money back if they wanted to. But 83% are like, no, you know what? I have really good seats to see Dave, to see Brad Paisley, whoever. I'm going to hold on to these tickets, and 83% is a pretty good number. 63% of festivals, those are like the big big festivals,
the 25,000, 30,000.
Major market. 63% of those ticket holders are holding onto their tickets. So it's a very healthy environment that we're going back into, and 64% of people plan on attending some live music event in the coming year. 64% of that's the country. So if things start opening, listen, Australia's in great shape. New Zealand's in great shape. Global company. That means we could have concert in Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane and Auckland, and that's money in the bank, right? So if we can get the artists to somehow, they play those markets. I mean, Australia's closed down. They just pushed it to June 12th, where they're not letting any citizen leave Australia, and you can't really get in. But it's an easy continent to.
Sure.
We're a little different. And then the states that are in good shape, if we can route a tour named XYZ to hit, from Seattle to Lauderdale up to Portland, Maine, and kind of hit those markets and do somewhat of a modest tour, I think people are going to be, Mike's right. I see it just walking around downtown New Haven that people want to do something. We just, with precaution and with safety. And listen, I have no problem wearing a mask. I'll wear it all day long. It doesn't bother me. I've gotten so used to it now.
Well, I think people are pretty much used to it now. So I don't even think that's a big issue today. Mike, did you have a question? Did we lose Mike?
I don't think so.
Mike, can you hear us?
He's muted.
Oh, Mike is muted as usual. So
all right, I can keep gabbing if you want, but I mean, and Tommy, the artists are all looking to get back. I mean, listen, they have payrolls, right? They have marketing people, they have press people, they have agents, they have managers, they have, it's any one of these artists. Yes, they're fine, right? I mean, you could name the artist; they're in good shape, but they are artists. They live to perform live. They really do.
So I know that, again, there's a trickle down effect. I mean, obviously, I'm using Anna as an example. Anna would book talent for whatever venue. So Anna would be dealing with the agencies, the William Morrises of the world, or whoever. Now, they've taken a big hit. I mean, has there been a trickle down effect with employment for agents from William Morris?
Oh yeah. There's been it's been a big trickle down effect. I mean, right from the artist. Listen, the road crews, right? The guys behind the stage that set those massive sets up. When you go see Rascal Flatts, and when you go see Drake or any of these guys, those are massive sets. Well, how do you think they get there? It's like 17 trucks, something like that. The crew, we have a thing called Crew Nation. We have a fund, Crew Nation, that you can go and look on. That's helping that industry, that sector of our industry, which is clobbered.
So those behind the scenes guys really got annihilated because, I mean, they're not making the money that the artists make.
No, of course not. They go town to town, right? It's like local people. Some of them tour with the bands, but some of them are local stagehands and stuff. They've been really handicapped with this whole thing. So managers aren't really working the way they will. Now, let's face it. An artist can put something on, Spotify or TikTok, and they can make their income that way with a new record or that sort of thing. I just heard that Thomas Rhett is releasing a double album, which is for country music. That's pretty amazing that he's doing a double album. But that seems to be the trend right now because they're home and they're creating and they're writing, right? They're not squeezing in a tour or squeezing in a TV appearance. So they have time to really write music. But I think the artists are just, you're going to see, I think, the cycle by 2022, by next year, as Michael Rapino said, twice the amount of artists.
Well, I was gonna ask you that. I mean, I think that once the floodgates open, I think you guys are going to be like overwhelmed because people are just chomping at the bit to get out. Number one, to see some great entertainment. And I think, again, you're the professional, you're the guy that's involved in this industry. But are you going to see artists that you haven't seen in years come out of the woodwork and say, you know something, we're going to tour. We're going to tour now.
I think you'll see that. I think there are some bands that might have been taking a year off here and there, and they were able to. I know that one of my favorite bands, Mick Fleetwood, is kind of talking again to Lindsey Buckingham.
I just read that.
They had a bit of a falling out. Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham seem to have a falling out every 5 years or so. But, so the last tour Fleetwood Mac did, Lindsey wasn't in it, and they employed Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and Neil Finn from Crowded House. And they had a great tour. I mean, we played Hartford. I'm sure it played the Boston area. But, Mick Fleetwood is now, Buckingham, maybe let's do a farewell tour. Let's do stadiums. They can look at that.
I hope so.
These guys but I think a lot of, again, I go back to artists are creative. They need that audience. There is nothing, listen, none of us have ever stood on a stage, sang, performed, and have 25,000 people go like this. That's an addictive drug that when you have it night after night after night, year after year after year, it's tough to not have.
Good point. Mikey, are you back with us, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know why, Tommy. I completely lost all the audio.
Well, Mikey, what happened was you muted your mic. That's what you did.
No, I didn't touch a thing.
You muted the damn mic.
Don't give me that BST. I won't buy into it.
Talk about that later. Michael, ask your question. Jesus.
We were talking, you mentioned earlier about Aaron Caruso, Tom. I just wanted to add that Aaron is also teaching. So that supplements his income considerably.
Yeah, absolutely. But,
these guys have to reinvent themselves.
Absolutely.
Look at Jim. I mean, he's got other things going on right now.
He's in a kitchen.
You don't know what the industry is going to give you. You really don't.
That's a good point.
But I think that you're going to see, like you alluded to earlier, I think by the middle of summer, late summer, I think there's going to be a big difference in what's going on. As far as buying tickets and when the shows were canceled, every show, I have 5 sets of tickets for different artists that we're going to see. I didn't cancel any of them.
Yeah, see, that's what Jimmy was saying.
One of them, Tommy, they actually rebooked, but for 2022.
Yeah. Well,
may I live that long.
Boz, you guys have been doing that, right? I mean, a lot of the dates have the canceled dates been booked into 2022, or is it still open-ended?
Many of the artists, when we left the office March 12th, and we were basically on Zoom calls from March to, let's call it September, moving shows. Now, this is last year. We were moving them to summer 22. There are a lot of shows somewhat on schedules in various venues across the country for summer 21. Now, whether they move now to 22, who knows? But if things go the way Mike was just talking about, maybe the show that was moved to August 21 last year, maybe it'll still play. Maybe it'll play at 50%, 75%, depending on your state, maybe 100%. But sitting here March 5th, we just don't know. I think every week is going to be a learning curve, and we're going to be like, wow, okay, wow, everything is up, that the numbers are down, like these variants are at bay, the vaccines are working against them. Johnson & Johnson's now is in the game, so listen, you could have me on 2 months from now, and I'd be like, oh my God, Tommy, Mike, Matt, remember March 5th when we didn't know anything, and crap, I'm working on a show with Thomas Rhett in August in Hartford and Boston and Portland, Maine. So I'm just hoping, man, because regardless of my job and my gig, I've done this for now 35 years. It's important. You got to have live entertainment. I don't care if it's a Broadway show. I don't care.
I agree.
I don't care if it's ballet. I don't care if it's a concert. I don't care if it's a hip hop show or an EDM dance party. You got to have entertainment. It's what has gotten us through. Look at the world wars, right? World War I and II. What did we do? We went to the movies to watch Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney, right? To make us feel better.
Point.
Right?
Very good point.
That's a good point. That's a good
Jimmy,
point.
can you stick with us? Can you stick around for a little while? All right, we're going to do this. We are chatting with an old friend, Jim Bozzi. We call him Boz. You can call him Boz. Vice President, Live Nation, Connecticut. A very, very, very nice state, by the way. Very nice state. Great pizza.
It's a civilized state.
Great pizza. Just we're going to talk about pizza too. We'll take a quick break. Hang in there, and we will be right back.
Looking for that something special? All of us here at the Sicilian Corner suggest trying Ristorante Uno, located at 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. For the most exquisite dining experience in an intimate setting that serves authentic regional Italian cuisine and features old country service. Try Ristorante Uno. Did we mention their award-winning wine cellar? Ristorante Uno, 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. Call 617-573-9406 for reservations. That's 617-573-9406. Tell them the boys from the Sicilian Corner sent you.
Today, Lawrence General Hospital has affiliations with leading Boston academic medical centers. Top specialists from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and Floating Hospital for Children at Tufts Medical Center work with our local doctors to bring world-class care close to home. Today, amazing partnerships are happening at Lawrence General Hospital. To learn more, visit lawrencegeneral.org/today.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine is pleased to announce the opening of their American College of Radiology accredited MRI unit at their location at 16 Pelham Road in Salem, New Hampshire. So now, in addition to receiving the best orthopedic care in the Merrimack Valley, as well as physical and occupational therapy at Optima Sports Therapy and Rehab, you can also have your MRI, all in one convenient location. The doctors and staff of Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine have been dedicated to providing outstanding medical care to the Merrimack Valley in southern New Hampshire since 1984. Located on Route 97, just off Exit 2 from Route 93 North, on the second floor of the Workout Club of Salem. You deserve the best care, and that's exactly what you'll get from the board-certified surgeons at Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine. Please call 603-898-2244 to schedule an appointment.
A loyal sponsor for the Sicilian Corner is Hilton Oil Company. Hilton Oil has been located right across from the South Lawrence Common since 1932 at 101 South Union Street. Hilton Oil Company specializes in 24-hour burner service, oil deliveries, including automatic deliveries, serving all the Merrimack Valley area, plus portions of southern New Hampshire. If you want your car fixed right the first time, bring it to Hilton's state-of-the-art service station. Remember, Hilton's is also a Mass State Inspection Station. Hilton Oil Company, 101 South Union Street in Lawrence. Call 978-687-9793.
This is Cindy,
and Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Dracut, Massachusetts,
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
Okay, we are back. Hey, boss, I wanted to ask you, two things. Number one, I am enjoying the way some of the artists have really kind of taken it upon themselves to entertain the masses. Now, I know you guys, you and Anna and all of you guys go back way, way, way back with Chicago. I don't know how many times you guys have had Chicago, but I'm sure you've seen the videos of Chicago performing on the internet from their own homes individually. Have you seen those videos? Yeah. I mean, that is spectacular. Amazing. What they've done has been absolutely phenomenal. And a lot of artists are doing this, which leads me to my question. Jimmy, you've been in this business for a long, long time. Your top 3 artists.
Oh, boy. Easy, honestly. My knee jerk was Fleetwood Mac, number 1. And when I say that, it's always because it's like 3 acts in one. Because the stylings of Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham, and Christine McVie was like my high school was Rumors, right?
Sure. One of the greatest albums of all time.
So when I was a senior, my senior year was all about Hotel California, Rumors, Silk Degrees, Frampton Comes Alive, those. And it always goes back to high school, right? Because that's when you're the most impressed by whatever the music is of the day. And I've always said that about
absolutely.
Fleetwood Mac for sure. Billy Joel, I'm a Long Island native. There's no way I could ever look at what he's done for almost like a songsmith. He's like the Irving Berlin of our time. Well, when you look at the catalog of music, that guy. And then I've got to go across the pond to U2. Bono, to me, is, I remember when the album Boy hit and Gloria and all of those early 80s. I was working at a record store, actually, in Connecticut, my first job, because I just had to be in music somehow. So I got a job in a record store. And when U2 hit, man, and this is, I'm saying way before the Joshua Tree, there was a rawness, energy to Bono's voice and the Edge and all the guys that I'll never forget the way it impacted me. But oh my God, there's so many, Tommy, like, and Ann and I have these conversations a lot. Music is so universal, and there's no right and there's no wrong. There's no wrong in music.
Mike, we've talked about it. I mean, Mike, obviously, Mike is a little older than us, and Mike goes back. I mean,
why obviously?
Well, because you look older, number one. I mean, you look kind of a
lot
older, to be honest with you. No, but all kidding aside, Mikey, I mean, Mikey and, I tease you all the time. We've been teasing each other for years about it. But, I know that you're an Elvis fan, and justifiably. I mean, for you, he changed music.
Just like Jim said, you're very influenced in your high school years. It goes back a little bit earlier, when Elvis came out, 54, 55, 57, I was just turning to be a teenager. So
absolutely,
yeah, it had a lot of influence on me. I love his gospel music. And I agree with everything Jim was saying about very influenced. The one thing I wanted to ask Jimmy was, you've been 35 years, you've been working in the industry, more or less. What was your greatest moment? Did you have 1 or 2 moments that were really it for you?
Like a wow moment.
Yeah.
When you were working and somebody was performing at one of the venues.
Again, I will, I always go with knee-jerk reactions, because I'm asked this at dinner parties a lot, and whatever hits my head, that's what I answer with.
Yeah.
And I do remember,
that's an Italian thing, by the way.
But I do remember, and I love seeing artists that become huge in their infancy, because you don't know it at the time when you're watching them, right? You don't know. I saw Madonna in '84 on her very first tour with the Beastie Boys opening at the Coliseum, and it was the she closed the show in the wedding dress. She rolled around the stage and everything that we know her for. We had no idea, right, what was going to come. We all thought our money was on Cyndi Lauper. She was going to be the one, the break.
Right, good point. Yeah.
She had a better voice, all that stuff. But look what I mean. But I remember watching her, knowing, she had a ton of hits, one album at that point. She had one album, but Borderline and Holiday and Burning Up and all of that stuff. It was, like you say about Elvis. I mean, Madonna in the early 80s, holy cow. Like this Detroit, Michigan, Bay City, Michigan Italian girl just knocks it out of the park. Was she a great singer? No. Was she a great performer? I would say yeah, but man, was she an entertainer. And honestly, I've seen her many, many times over the years. She is such an entertainer. I think of that. I think of, honestly, Barbra Streisand. When I saw her in Vegas, when she returned to the stage, the live stage, in New Year's Eve, 93, going into 94. I'm a huge Streisand fan. I mean, I don't think you can be an Italian New Yorker and not be a fan of.
In my opinion, unequivocally the greatest female vocalist of all time.
Tom,
that clearest voice.
Judy Garland may be a close second, but either one of those two, you can flip-flop them.
Yes, and the classic video of when Barbra Streisand was on Judy Garland's variety show back in the early 60s. Judy Garland was a nervous wreck because here's this ingenue who can, it was all about power. These
Absolutely.
Powerful voices. So here's this girl from Brooklyn. I think Barbra Streisand was only 22 years old. Judy Garland was only in her 30s. It's crazy. She died at 49 years old.
I know.
Crazy. But she was like shaking, holding Barbra Streisand's hand, and they sang Happy Days Are Here Again. It's a wonderful clip. But Mike, I'm going to go back to Elvis for a second. The one thing that I did do early in my, let's say, 20s is I went back and explored the music that I missed. Elvis was one of them, because If I Can Dream, to me, is the most iconic gospel song that you could ever, and his the album with all the gold records on it,
here we go. Look at the look on Lamazzo's face. Here we go.
But I want you, I need you, I love you. I mean, he had such depth. I mean, he became sort of a, whatever he became in the 70s, but his early, I want to come back to about early recordings. When you listen to early Elvis, when you listen to early Barbra Streisand, when you listen to early Michael Jackson, I mean, nobody sang like that kid at 12 years old. You find me a 12-year-old singer now that can sing Got to Be There, or I'll Be There, or I Want You Back, the way that kid knocked it out on the Ed Sullivan Show. Who does that?
And he was an entertainer. Even at that age, he was an entertainer.
He was, but to Tommy's question, I remember one year seeing Michael Jackson and Bruce Springsteen 2 months apart. And I remember the audience when Michael Jackson, this is 84, he was at the top of his game, Thriller. Yeah. This is the audience. Because you were mesmerized. You couldn't take your eye off. You didn't want to miss a thing. 2 weeks later, I saw Bruce at the Hartford Civic Center. This was the audience. Like it was a pep rally.
Yeah.
High school pep rally, because that's what he put the lights on. From the back row to the first row, you felt like you were part of a team. Where Michael,
wow! But something, Bob. If I had to, I'm a musician, and I have some, as a high school kid, like what you guys said, I was a big Crosby, Stills and Nash, Santana, Allman Brothers. But if I think back at one performance that, in my opinion, really changed music, it was Michael Jackson's performance when he did Billie Jean at the Music Awards?
No, the Motown 25th anniversary. Yeah, you know what? It's a moment in time, Tom.
It really was. I mean, that was like an incredible. I mean, people would just. This is when Michael Jackson changed from little Michael Jackson to Michael Jackson, the superstar, and people were not expecting that. They were just in awe. Michael, did you ever see that? Have you ever seen that cut?
Yeah, I have.
When he did Billie Jean, just amazing,
outstanding.
And I've asked Anna the question many times.
Very good, boss. That was good.
I've asked Anna about her favorites, and she's always said Madonna, like you, Jimmy. Prince, she said Prince was spectacular. Paul McCartney, and then again, there's a very special place in her heart for Bonnie Raitt.
Tommy, what was your favorite concert that you've seen?
The single best concert that I ever saw personally was in 1971. I saw Santana. I had front row seats to see Santana. Again, Mike, it's a different time and place than what you're used to, but I saw Santana at the Boston Garden when their first album had just come out.
Okay.
And then you're going to laugh, but prior to that, one of the best concerts, because I was a big fan of theirs. I saw the Young Rascals at the Hampton Beach Casino. Must have been 1967, 68, 66. I don't even remember. I was a little kid. And it was just a great concert. No seats. Everybody's just standing in front of the stage watching the Rascals. I mean, and it was great. It was just great.
I think the best concert, Boz, I ever seen, I think was in the Meadowlands. And it was Placido Domingo, Correas, and Pavarotti. And they played in that outdoor venue. To see three human beings make that kind of sound.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps. I mean, and it was a beautiful night. The stars were out. The city of New York, the lighting, the lights on the buildings. It was absolutely perfect. And in my head, I still can picture that show. I mean, the amount of equipment that they used to create that Coliseum
Fantastic.
type. Oh gosh, it was. And the funny thing was, you'll love this. At the end of the show, the three of them get out there, and they got their arms around each other, and they broke into New York, New York, and none of them knew the lyrics. It was a freaking hoot. It really was. It was funny as hell.
But but to all of this, the way we're conversing, this is why we need live entertainment back.
I agree.
Look at the impressions that. Like Tommy recalled something from 1971. You're recalling something from, I'm going to guess, the 80s sometime. My first concert was, whatever, it's embarrassing, but whatever it is. It was the Osmonds at Nassau Coliseum in 72.
Okay.
I was 11 years old. You know what? It was a great show. So,
I know, that's like my kids. You talk to my daughter, Jackie. It was New Kids on the Block. I mean, she was just blown away by New Kids. But what about, go ahead, I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
But this is why we need live entertainment back. This is exactly why we have to get vaccinated. We have to keep wearing masks so that these experiences that we're talking about 40 years later, the kids that are now 17, 21, not going to that show, who knows for how long, they need to get that first concert experience.
Totally agree.
Under their belt, so they can be on a show 40 years from now and say, "Oh my God, when I saw whoever, Bieber or Drake or."
Sure. Hey, Boz, we got a couple of minutes left. Two questions. First question is Broadway. Broadway, the lights have been dark in Broadway now for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's tragic, in my opinion. I was just reading an article today about, and I can't remember the name of the show that was supposed to open. I think they opened one night. They were getting spectacular reviews, and then they shut down. I can't remember the name of the show, but that's going to be really difficult for people that frequent Broadway to see what's happening on Broadway, correct?
We've talked about this a lot, and when I look at the different genres of entertainment, concerts, you can say, okay, we're going to put Kelsey Ballerini here. We're going to put the drummer here, the piano player here, guitar player here. You could pretty much space out a concert. What do you do with Jersey Boys? What do you do with Whitney? What do you do with Hamilton? What do you do when there are 50 people on the stage at once singing loud, and then they run up the stage in these cubicles, backstage at Broadway theaters? I mean, the Oakdale is a very large space, but you guys know with your Wang Center and things up there, the backstage is tight. These old rule boxes of theaters, they're not made for. So when they run off stage in new wigs, new costumes, there's putting a jacket on, then they run back on stage to do the next. That category, Broadway, what you're talking about, is, I think, way in the back of the bus. And I say that in a sad way, because that we really need to get theater, and I'm talking ballet, opera.
Sure.
Yeah. You have a lot of performers on the stage at the same time. Concerts, you don't really have a lot of performers. Listen, comics have it made. Seinfeld or Jim Gaffigan, they can go out. It's only them and a stool and a microphone.
Sure.
Concerts, I think, are easier to choreograph. Broadway, I think, is going to take some thought.
All right, listen, we got a couple of minutes left. Unequivocally, the best pizza on Worcester. No, the best pizza in New Haven. What's your listen? I mean, you lived in downtown New Haven for years and years and years. What is the best pizza in New Haven, in Jim Bozzi's opinion?
White clam, Pepe's.
white clam Pepe's always is at the
Everybody
top of the
seems to
list.
say that.
It's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I don't get it enough. But I will say, listen, we are blessed with great pizza. I mean,
You think?
your sister lived on the street, for God's sakes. Modern, I like for different reasons. Oh my God! But and you know what, Tommy? You know what's so funny? I rarely go because there's always a line out the door. Your sister loves the tomato mozz that you have in the late summer. In fact, when I go up there, I'm going to bring her a pizza. But that white clam pizza Pepe's makes.
It's spectacular. And then let's give a plug to Trey Scalini. What kind of a restaurant is Trey Scalini? Right on Worcester.
Well, you know, that's my haunt. You know,
Great restaurant.
It's been there for, God, 30 years now. And
New Haven? Are we in New Haven?
Oh, yeah, right on Worcester Street.
Okay. Yeah,
right on Worcester Street.
Pepe's and Sally's and all that. And
Pepe's and Sally's.
It's an amazing. Thank God. You know, listen, Yale University in our crotch, basically. I mean, if you look at an aerial view of New Haven, like Harvard is off across the river, right?
Yeah.
And it impacts Cambridge and all that. But New Haven, bam, right? It's like a center. New Haven was the first planned city in America. So it's made up of 9 squares. Well, the center square is Yale. So when all of that overlap goes around it, it's
spectacular.
It really makes New Haven quite an enjoyable city for this Long Islander to live in for the past 30 some odd years.
All right, listen, you have a TV show. Before we let you go, why don't you give your show a plug? I know it's very, very popular down in Connecticut. Tell us a little bit about it.
I'm on every now and then on Better Connecticut. I do music news. I do what's going on virtually. I go, what's going on in the entertainment field. But yeah, it's on Better Connecticut on WFSB out of Hartford. And it's on Thursdays at 3:00.
Awesome. Jim, we love you. You know what you mean to me, and you've been a great friend to my sister. My sister adores you. You guys are like brother. You're like my brother. You're like our brother and sister. Right? You're just fantastic. We love you, and thanks for taking the time to be with us.
This was fun. Anytime. I'll go on anytime. Mike, nice meeting you too.
A pleasure, my friend.
Elvis, Viva
Las Vegas.
Jim Bozzi, Vice President, Live Nation, Connecticut. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to talk cocktails with David. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
From the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and we can never agree. Tom likes the casual family-style dining with great Italian cuisine, Capri Seaside Italian Grill. Me, I love the elegant romantic vibe, Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu with prices that'll make it the place you want to visit every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf and the rhythms of an even cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites, and the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Music Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality is the host of all these great places, and they treat everyone like they're Mike Lamazzo. And best of all, we never have to choose. Park the car once and all of this fun is right at your fingertips. We can have it all in the heart of Salisbury Beach. Find out about all the ways you can have a great night at Salisbury Beach at NorthshorePavilion.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappola. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Hi, this is Mike, and I would like to tell you about the Deborah Care Law Offices, a firm that is focused on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and elder law issues. You will feel comfortable discussing important issues concerning both you and your loved ones, as well as having the information you need to make an informed decision about your family's future. How do I know? Because I'm a client of Dan Deborah Care. If you want to have peace of mind knowing that your loved ones are protected, call Deborah Care Law Offices today. In Massachusetts, 978-686-4645. In New Hampshire, 603-894-4141.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
Okay, we are back, and Boz is great, isn't he?
That was awesome.
He's had an interesting life.
He's had such.
And he loves it. You can tell he loves what he's
And
doing.
I tell you, honestly, he is so good at what he does. That's why he's a good friend. I've known Jimmy for 30 years. He and Anna, I tell you, the both of them together.
How big, Tommy, is that Oakdale?
They hold about 7,500, I think. But
wow.
Oakdale, but you have to understand, Jimmy.
But there's more than one theater there, right?
Well, yeah. See, that's their corporate office, basically, for Connecticut and for the East Coast. So Anna and Boz, they have, Anna's retired now, but their offices were at the Oakdale Theater, and they have concerts there. But that's not just what they did. I mean, obviously, Anna books concerts for all over the place. And Boz does the same thing. Boz handles the marketing for the concerts at all the big venues. It's all split up. You've heard of Don Law, you guys?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, Don Law is the president of Live Nation in the Massachusetts area. I don't know. He goes from Massachusetts, I think, up to whatever. Jimmy Koplick, who is Anna's boss and Boz's boss, he covers, I believe, Connecticut into New York. So that it's all spread out. But so it's hey, they're good at what they do. They're very, very passionate about what they've done. And
what has Boz been doing this time, Tom? All the time.
He's been cooking.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to ask him during the show.
No, he's a gourmet chef, number one, and he's been doing a lot of cooking, and he goes into the office. I mean, he was furloughed. He was furloughed, but he goes into the office and basically helps. Does what he has to do, and not getting paid for it. Right. Because I mean, they all know that they're all going to be back. As this is Anna's retired, but yeah, Boz will be back, and same thing with Jim, his boss. Jimmy's coming down here. Jimmy lives not too far from here, and he's coming down here because there's really not a lot to do. They're building a new venue there that's going to hold I don't even know how many people. So they're working on that too. So
that's
kind of cool. So what do we have, David?
So this week has been a fun week here in where I live. I live in Drake. I think we've talked about that before. And I know that we had the windstorm on, I guess it was Monday night. This week has been a long week. It was howling for sure. The house was shaking. I don't know about your house, Michael, but there were times when our house was shaking overnight. It was a rough night of sleep because you're off and on because of the wind and such. And I don't know why, but at some point overnight I said, I'm going to turn the heat up just in case we lose power because it's cold. Yep. So I did. I got up, and then when I got up in the morning, I got up around 6:30, and I thought the house was a little cooler than it should be based on where I put the temperature. I think it said our digital thermostat said 67, and I thought, I don't like the way this feels. So I turned it up, but I didn't hear the heat click. And then just as I'm investigating that, we lost power. So we lost power until 11:30. Then we had someone come in the afternoon because the heat was definitely not working. I had previously lit a fire, so in the fireplace, and I made the determination that we needed help. So we got someone to come in to take a look at the boiler, and they couldn't figure it out. They replaced a couple of parts, turned it on briefly, and they just could not figure out what was wrong with the darn thing. So that was Tuesday afternoon. We had no heat. Wednesday, we had no heat. Thursday, we had no heat. So what we decided to do, we went through a lot of wood. I have an open fireplace, so we heated part of the house, and there's stages as they were trying to figure out what was going on, where they got it to work for 5 or 6 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And they were blowing fuses, little tiny fuses. So a guy went through, I think, 14 fuses. So he had heat for, I don't even know how many minutes that is, but like an hour. So the heat in the house went up to like 64, and he ran out of fuses. So he left. And they finally came back yesterday afternoon, and they did some rewiring, and they determined that the wiring was causing a short in one of the transformers, and they, finally figured it out. So what we were doing this week was we were doing that.
Bousquet?
Domaine Bouquet. Malbec. It's an organic. We were drinking a lot of wine, is my point.
There you go.
Red wine will warm you up. And we went.
I'm sure it will.
Wine, and we tried this one here. It's really good. I got it at Total Wine for $8.79. The Twisty. And at the New Hampshire State Liquor Store, it's $13.99. This one was really, really good. It's highly rated by the Wine Spectator. This 90, I'm not kidding. They gave it a 90 rating from Wine Spectator. It's a Twisty.
I have to write this down because
write it down. Domaine Bouquet. It's organic. It's an organic wine. It's a Malbec. Has really nice flavors. It's not too overpowering for people that don't like the heavy Cabernet Sauvignon, that kind of thing. It's a little too overwhelming to them. This is really good.
I think Ellen will love this.
And the retail value is $8 and change.
$8.79 at Total Wine.
I got to tell you something, David. This Total Wine, man. This Total Wine is just.
This is a go back and buy more kind of wine for me.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, we have not been in a liquor store in well over a year, and when
they deliver,
they do.
Sorry, they deliver right within 2 hours.
Yeah, that's great. I want to try that. But it's so fun to go in.
Yeah, and their prices are just spectacular. But you just go through Instacart and you go through whatever you want. You type in vodka, every vodka you can think of comes up, and then you just boom, boom, add to the shopping cart. Pick your time. They're there in 2 hours, and
you get to
the prices are spectacular.
Do you have to sign for it when it comes to your door?
All you have to do is show them your license.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you got to show them your license.
I think it's phenomenal. That's great.
It's just so good. So that's good, David, because as I said, Ellen is a big red wine drinker.
Yeah,
I have to put an order in tomorrow. I'm going to order some for her.
You should, because it's really good. It's really tasty. It's a Twisty, like I said, and it's not too overpowering. It gives you that nice red wine feel that you kind of like and enjoy.
Thank you.
Fruity attributes, and up here it keeps you warm when you're drinking a little red wine.
Why don't you repeat the name for our listeners?
Yeah, sure. I can put it back on the screen. Actually.
Yeah, I want to make sure I get that.
Bouquet. Yeah, Bouquet. Yeah, Bouquet. They make Malbec. The 2019 right here is the one that the Wine Spectator loves, but I'm sure if there's 2018, I'm sure it's still fine.
Awesome.
And I guess let me see if I can do that. That's what the bottle looks like. Like I said, it's a Twisty.
Yeah,
they make organic wines, and they make really good stuff. It's pretty.
I'm going to order some. Hey, Mike, I wanted to throw this out to you, and I don't even know if we're going to get in trouble for this, but I know most of our viewers locally in the Merrimack Valley know that the church, Holy Rosary Church at Corpus Christi, Paris, had a major fire about a week ago. And we lost the rectory, and there was some significant damage, and there was some water damage and stuff, I guess, to the back of the church. Now, the St. Alfio Society has decided to donate every penny from the $10,000 raffle to the church. Correct, Mike?
Correct.
And I heard. Go ahead. I heard. Go ahead.
Last night at our council meeting, we did a Zoom meeting. And it was decided that every cent that $10,000 raffle generates is going to go to the church.
Nice. Okay, so my question to you is, if people just want to make an outright donation, can they make a donation to the St. Alfio Society on behalf of the church? Because
Absolutely.
I mean, the tickets are. I was talking to Joe Mariano prior to coming on. He called me up. And the tickets for the $10,000 raffle are they're going to be gone, or if they're not already gone, they're going to be gone very quickly. So can people make a donation and send it to this?
Yeah, as long as they write what the money is for, the St. Alfio Society, our treasurer, Billy Schofield, will take care of it, make sure it gets in the right hands. There's also movement right now to get all the different groups that belong to Corpus Christi Parish, whether it be the Portuguese, the Spanish, that try to have one big fundraiser as a group. And I don't know how far along that is, but it's a very fluid situation. All I know is our $10,000 raffle. Thanks to our listeners, Tom, we're up to 85 tickets sold just on this because of the Sicilian Corner.
Good. That's good. That's what we like to hear.
Out of the 300.
That's
now,
great.
so if you want to make a contribution, you can make out a check, $5, $100, $1,000, whatever you want. Make it out to the St. Alpheus Society, 20 Common Street, Lawrence. As the zip, I believe, is 0184 something or other. What's it, Mike? Yeah, 01841. So the St. Alpheus Society, 20 Common Street in Lawrence. And just put down on your check that it's for Holy Rosary Church.
We may even be putting together another raffle in the very near future.
I was going to say that. Why
all
not?
the proceeds, because so many people want to buy tickets this morning. The tickets are gone. I mean, literally.
Awesome. 1 minute, boys.
Okay, Mikey, great job. You guys have done a great job with St. Alfeo. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. Special thanks to Jim Bosey down in Connecticut.
Nice
Thank you,
guy.
Jimmy, and we wish you guys the best. Mikey, quick, what's up for the weekend, real quick?
Nothing for this weekend, Tommy. Getting my shot, going up to the Speedway up in Loudon on Monday.
Nice.
Getting the Johnson & Johnson shot.
Excellent.
They actually called me yesterday to make the
you.
appointment.
Ellen and I went out for dinner last night.
Called.
We went out for dinner last night for the first time in over a year. It was so liberating. It was fantastic. With that being said, everybody have a great weekend. We love you guys. Thank you for all the support. And remember, if you can't make fun of yourself, please don't make fun of anyone.
Thanks for all your support, everybody. Take
care. Have a
Ciao. Arrivederci.
Ciao ciao.
Buonanotte. A presto.
Ciao.
C'è la luna menzumata, mamma mia, mamma di dare. Figlia mia, cosa dare, mamma mia, pensate. Mamma la voglio, che me voglio maritare. Ehi!